Day as family members are still waiting to hear if their loved ones were in yesterday's crash that killed 7 people. Police say one unidentified 18-year-old man was killed.
And one El Paso mom says she believes that was her son. ABC-7's Brianna Chavez spoke to her. And Brianna, what did she tell you?
Well, Stephanie, Eric, Patricia Cervantes tells me that her mom actually woke her up to tell her about the accident, which right behind me, there's already a vigil that's been formed here from the crash. Patricia tells me that when they came to the scene, to find out if their loved one was involved.
He never came back. He never came back.
Patricia Cervantes believes her son, Gustavo Cervantes, was inside this car Thursday morning. Cervantes says when she described her son's tattoos to police, they told her a victim had the same tattoos she described. Gustavo would have been 19 in August.
He was friendly with everybody. He was like strong. He would put like a shield on him, I guess to not get hurt. But he would always try and help whoever he could in whatever way he could. I'm not saying he's an angel, but, you know, he was a kid. He had just told me he wanted to go back and take the test for joining the Navy last week. That he was going to take care of me when I was old. And he was going to buy me a house.
Police have not confirmed any of the 7 victims killed in Thursday's early morning crash, but did confirm that one 18-year-old male from El Paso died.
I just want to find out what happened. I mean, he wasn't a bad kid. It was just hard.
And police did say the driver was an 18-year-old male. Cervantes says that she does recognize the car, but it's not her son's. She says that he was taking care of it, which belonged to his friend who's out of town. Live in downtown El Paso, Brianna Chavez, ABC-7.
Okay, Brianna. And the task to identify some of the victims in Thursday's crash that killed 7 is underway. ABC-7 reached out to El Paso police, who tell us we may not know all of the names of the people who died for some time. ABC-7 Seoul Science joins us live now. In Seoul, the IDs of the people riding inside that car is not necessarily enough to identify the victims.
Not in this case, Eric. Here's why. As it turns out, police say some of the people who died carried with them false IDs. Some had no ID at all. Here's what we know. 10 people were inside a compact car. As Brianna mentioned, police only identified the driver as an 18-year-old El Paso man. They did not release his name. Police Information Officer Sergeant Enrique Carrillo says they can easily identify victims if they're from El Paso. However, Sergeant Carrillo tells ABC-7 some of the victims are from different countries. Add to that, the IDs some of the victims were carrying are fraudulent.
If they're residents from El Paso, those are more easily traceable through the vehicle, through documents. But when you have nationals from different countries, and some may have fraudulent identifications, then the task becomes that much more difficult. And so we work with Border Patrol, the Medical Examiner's Office, and the consulate offices of the suspected countries of origin to attempt to identify those persons.
And Sergeant Carrillo adds identifying all the victims will take time because of the nature of the crash. Police may have to rely on forensics investigators because physical identity may not be possible because of how violent the crash was.
Okay, so new today, El Paso police say the Border Patrol tried to stop the vehicle at McNutt Road and Paisano Road. That's several miles west of where the crash happened. Today we're learning more about the moments leading up to the crash by someone who says he saw the car fly by just before it slammed into that semi-trailer in the Union Plaza district.
And ABC-7's JC Navarrete spoke with him, and he brings us the latest live. JC.
Steph, Eric, that's right. I did get a chance to speak to a witness. He does not want to be identified, does not want us to reveal the nature of his job, but he can tell us that he was working that fateful morning and he saw the crash happen from no more than 200 yards away. Now, he tells me he saw that vehicle zooming by Paisano, going at what he believed to be at least 90 miles an hour before he heard a loud bang. Now, seconds later, he tells us the Border Patrol was on the scene of the crash. Now, I asked him if he felt felt Border Patrol had discontinued the chase leading up to this crash. From his understanding, he tells me he did not feel that way. He tells me he felt Border Patrol was right behind moments before this deadly wreck. Now, he also tells me it took him no more than 30 seconds to make it to the scene when he saw other Border Patrol vehicles surrounding this car. When he made it to the scene, he tells me what he saw and what he heard will stick with him forever.
What's sticking more with me is the guy screaming for help. That was the most thing that comes to my mind every time. I gotta go back to work to the same place right now, and just knowing that a couple of days before I heard that, it just scares me knowing that it might happen again.
Now, it is very important to note that Paisano is not like a highway where you'd have a lot of exits stacked right next to each other, giving Border Patrol a chance to get off of Paisano. Now, the job investigators have ahead is to determine the exact moment that Border Patrol stopped the chase, and then they were just merely driving behind this vehicle. Again, that's something that investigators will have to determine for themselves. Reporting right now here near downtown El Paso, JC Navarrete, ABC 7.
Okay, JC. To start